today I'm going to discuss 3 ways you can generate passive income when you buy your next home. The 3 ways are living in your own 2 to 4 unit multifamily building, building and renting out your own ADU unit, or renting your bedrooms out to roommate tenants. I'm going to talk about their advantages and disadvantages and some tips to maximize the cash flow of each method. First method is to buy your own 2 to 4 unit multifamily building, or duplex, triplex, and fourplex. It's pretty straightforward. You live in one unit and you rent out all the other units. This is a good option if you want privacy or if you're married or have kids. You may think this is the same as just buying an apartment complex, but it's actually not. The conventional loans that you use to buy these types of buildings are the same loans that you use to buy single family homes. You can get your 30-year fixed rate mortgage, low interest, low down payment as low as 5%. Anything over 4 units is considered commercial and your loan terms will be way different. You have higher fees, higher interest, higher down payment, and no 30-year fixed rate loans. The downside is that it may be harder to buy multifamily with good returns these days because there is less inventory and multifamily is usually priced significantly higher than single family homes. A good trick I've seen investors do to maximize cash flow is to try to buy in an area that has high demand and is capable of short-term rentals through Airbnb. Most cities will only issue short-term rental permits if you actually live on the property. There's a lot of controversy about this because you're actually reducing housing for local residents, but I've seen landlords who do this double their monthly income. Just keep in mind, you should always analyze your purchases so that you're comfortable purchasing it, even if the units had to be rented out to traditional renters. Airbnb laws are always changing, and you never know when the cities might decide to shut them down or change the laws so that the Airbnb rentals become unprofitable. When you're looking for 2 to 4 unit buildings, work closely with your realtor to make sure your rents are competitive and always factor in the cost of property management in your study in case you don't want to manage it yourself. If you want to go the Airbnb route, work with the Airbnb management company to screen the properties. These companies will give you a rough idea of how much you can net after their management fees and what to expect doing Airbnb in different cities, or if it's even allowed in those cities in the first place. I definitely recommend handing the management over to a professional Airbnb management company. Airbnb management is a full-time job. They coordinate all the bookings, cleaning, customer service, and they're only paid when you receive your rent, so they're always motivated to keep it occupied. Always keep in mind, just because you're hiring a management company doesn't mean you don't have to watch your property. Living next to an Airbnb will have its issues. If you have a mix of short-term and long-term tenants, your long-term tenants probably won't be long-term for very long. Many Airbnb guests visit to throw parties and most likely won't take care of your property or care too much about how their actions affect the neighbors. You will have to constantly watch them to make sure things like loud noises, drinking and smoking outside, cars parked where they shouldn't be, or anything that might annoy the neighbors are quickly resolved. Every city works with Airbnb to issue short-term rental permits. If the neighbors complain too many times and the city decides to revoke your short-term rental permit, your Airbnb business is done. The second method has to do with buying a single-family house and building an ADU unit in the back. In recent years, many California cities have allowed single-family homes to add ADUs, accessory dwelling units, to provide for more housing, essentially turning the house into a duplex. These units are detached bedroom-bathroom suites that can be built or converted from existing garages on land zoned for single-family homes. Every city has their own regulations, but ADU units are typically 2-bedroom, 1-bath between 1,000 and 1,200 square feet and has its own kitchen and utility meters. It's a great method if you don't want to live in an apartment and you want to buy in a single family home residential neighborhood where the neighborhoods are usually nicer and go up faster in value. I've even heard of people downsizing and living in the ADUs that they built while renting out the main house for additional income. The downside is building one of these isn't fast or cheap. Permitting and construction usually takes around 9 months, and detached garage conversions will cost you around $150,000. If you do a ground up brand new construction, it'll cost you even more. I have seen 3 common ways people use to buy a home and build their ADU. The first way involves getting another construction loan or personal loan after they buy the home. I've mostly seen professional investors do this because they quickly build out the ADU and resell the home for a profit. It doesn't really make sense for home buyers to do it unless you have a lot of money coming in to pay back these loans quickly because their interest rates are very high. Construction loan interests are usually between 2.5% to 3% higher than your typical typical home loans, and personal loans can go as high as 9 to 10% annually. The second way is to build your ADU with saved cash. I've seen this used by foreigners or homeowners with lots of savings. The third way is to slowly build equity and refinance your property in the future. This is probably the most common thing I've seen homeowners do in the last few years. Banks will typically lend up to 80% loan to value, which means if your home is worth $1 million and you put down 20% down payment, you can't borrow anymore because your loan is already at 80% of the home's value. However, as time passes, the value of your home will increase and your loan amount will decrease as you make your monthly payments. Once you build up enough equity, you can then refinance the home and pull the amount needed for the ADU remodel. Here's a quick tip. If you're buying a home and intending to go this route, make sure you are comfortable with the ADU possibilities of the property before you buy it. Work with an architect and contractor with experience in that city so you have a reliable time frame and construction estimate. You can consult with them on the phone, but don't expect them to do any drawings or studies for you unless you're actually in escrow, or they will start charging you. The most common and affordable way I've seen people generate passive income is by buying a home and renting out individual bedrooms to roommate tenants. Keep in mind, you won't be able to outsource the property management, so you'll be doing all the landlord work yourself. And it's probably more suitable if you're single or without family because you will be living like a college student with shared public areas and very little privacy. Now, there are people online who claim you can do this and actually make money after making your monthly payments. This hasn't been the case, at least from my experience in the greater Los Angeles area. If it does work out, it's probably because they're doing something illegal, like adding unpermitted bedrooms or bathrooms to house more people. This always comes back to haunt them though. I've seen landlords get shut down by the city when neighbors report them during construction, and even if they get away with it, if the landlords decide to sell in the future, it will affect the property's resale value, and many cities, including Pasadena, where I live, will perform inspections during escrow and force them to convert it back anyway. Even though this method probably won't help you generate any passive income, it will allow you to greatly reduce your monthly home ownership expenses while your home grows in value. So for example, let's say you buy a 3-bedroom, 3-bath condo in Pasadena for $725,000. Your monthly payments come out to be around $3,500 a month. In Pasadena, a typical single bedroom rents for about $750 to $900 a month, and a bedroom suite rents out for around $900 to $1,200 a month. If you rent out 2 of your bedroom suites, you can reduce your monthly payments by more than half. Not only are you reducing your housing expenses, you're also building wealth as your property appreciates. Historically, for the past 10 years, Pasadena real estate has increased 69%. This means that if the trend continues, your condo will be averaging an increase in value of about $50,000 per year. If you think this method is right for you, work with your realtor to try to find condos or homes with more bedroom suites or already built dens or office rooms that you can use as bedrooms to maximize your rent. Remember to always screen tenants for credit and income, and unlike previous examples, in this method, I would suggest avoiding short-term or month-to-month lease tenants, even in high demand areas. Many HOA communities don't allow short-term rentals at all, and even though short-term rentals may generate more monthly rent, it usually won't generate enough for you to outsource it to a professional property management company, and it usually isn't worth the work you have to put in to maintain the business. Please comment down below if you agree or disagree with my opinions. Check out my other videos about living in Pasadena, or subscribe to get updates on future videos. Until next time, goodbye.